What is up, Mountaineer fans? This is Mountaineer Paul. We're going to be having a discussion today with C.J Donaldson's coach, former coach at Gulliver Prep, Coach Earl Simms. And we're going to be joined by Travis Knobbe with last word on college football. I'm going to bring those fellas in right now as we speak. What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
So we're really thankful that you came on, Coach, especially on short notice. I just got a hold of you just earlier this afternoon, or this morning, actually, even. So we really appreciate your time with this, and we're really excited to talk about actually a couple kids, C.J. Donaldson, obviously, and Trey Lathan as well.
Yes.
Two kids who you've had been in close proximity with, and have obviously, at least I assume, had a part in grooming.
Yes, those are two sharp individuals whom I've had the pleasure of coaching, and I'm extremely proud to have been their coach.
Travis, I know you wanted to jump in there. You've got to get out of here pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, I have kids that are heading into high school myself, and so I'm in the two or three times a week practice schedule these days. Coach Simms, my name's Travis Knobbe. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Meet you as well.
I've heard a few things about Gulliver Prep along the way. I spent 4 years when I was growing up in Fort Lauderdale, so not too far north of you.
Oh, okay.
So I guess maybe my first question is, what is it that you think makes each of Trey Lathan and C.J. Donaldson so special?
Okay, I'll start with Trey. Trey's versatility to have come into our program as a receiver and be able to play linebacker as well. Definitely helped our program. He was a person who developed over the years and became a standout on our team. But I think just his athletic ability to play in space, to have the twitch to cover a receiver and have the physicality to be an imposing force in the run. That helped our defense and helped our team. I think that's what makes him special. He's a hard worker. He's a humble, silent. You won't hear him, but he's a person who has passion. He plays with it. And CJ, I think the word would be passion. He's passionate about his performance. He's also a hard worker. He's competitive. And I think the nature of both of those individuals, they kind of used to go at it in practice too. The nature of both of those individuals on your team will help to bring out the competitive nature.
That's awesome. It's crazy how both of them, it seems like, have switched around different positions. You said Trey came in as a wide receiver, ended up playing which, like you said, he was real twitchy to play in space. It's what a good coach does, is figures out where the best players can play. It doesn't really matter what they come in as. A couple comments here. Are we doing Lair with Kenny? Josh Richfield says, Coach Simms, does it seeing CJ at running so good make you think he could have been a running back?
Well, yeah. What was important to know is a running back has the ball in his hand. So whether he was an H-back or a tight end or receiver, it was important to make sure he got the ball in his hand. CJ returned punts and returned kicks also. So once he got the ball in his hand, he was bound to do something special. But yeah, it's impressive to see him behind the line making plays like that.
So you obviously knew both these kids were special talents. I mean, they're playing at the Power 5 level for a reason. My question to you is, if you don't mind to say, who did you think would break out first? And are you surprised at CJ?
Well, I'll tell you this. Our last senior class was a stellar class. All the guys we had, they finished at the top of their game, in their high school careers. And, we had several guys go off to college. I want to say out of 12 guys, we had 10 of them sign and continue to play college football. So, but, all of them are special in their own right. The CJ doing that at running back, I never put anything past him. He's a guy who you want, on your team. Man, what he's doing right now is quite impressive, I must say. I'm sure everybody
saw that coming.
Nah, I didn't really see that coming, but I knew he was going to make a splash. I just didn't know it would be so soon.
Travis, I know you're short on time here, so get your questions in, man.
Yeah, one of the things that impressed me in his very first run with CJ is that, I knew that he was a big body. He was recruited at tight end, but where did he get that quickness from? He's deceptively fast, especially for somebody with that size frame.
Yeah, he is deceptive. You can ask everybody we played last year, right? He doesn't look like he has that ability to get out the gate, but he has it for sure. He's stronger than you think. He's a strong runner. He runs behind his pads, but I think his ability to be elusive came from him playing 7-on-7 and doing the sport without pads on. So when we put pads on, he can be the shifty guy, but he also can be the power guy and run behind those pads.
Now, has he been playing football his whole life, or is he sort of a new convert to the game?
No, he's been playing football his whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not surprising. He's done it all for us. He's blocked a punt. Wasn't that him that blocked the punt, Travis?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah. He's blocked a punt. The thing, like you mentioned, in front of 70,000 people on opening night of college football, his first carry, unbelievable. Ice water in his veins. And, it's odd. I had said in another video previous to this, Coach, in my time, I've been watching press conferences and studying them for years, trying to get verbal and body language cues off of coaches, trying to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes. And I could tell that these coaches, none of them were joking about CJ when they talked about how special he is, how smart he is. He picked up so from what CJ says, back in June or July, he was only at the tight end room for a couple of days. They say, they see him returning punts, messing around on kickoff. They say, man, this kid's good with the ball in his hands. Maybe we need to put him behind the quarterback. And so they make the transition, and it wasn't too long after that. That's not long until the season. He picked up the entire running back playbook. Coach said they can run everything that he can run everything they do, and he's our best pass protector at running back, which blows me away.
Yeah, we used to do blitz period. We used to do blitz period in practice, so that doesn't surprise me. But CJ's a smart. He's sharp. He's sharp. He was a great student while he was at Gulliver. He's just a smart, savvy human being. You know, he's special. That's how you sum it up. He's a high character young man. You know, just hearing how he speaks in the press conferences is impressive as well. You know, just his ability to communicate. He's full of ability now, and then we just tap in the beginning.
Yeah, and it really says a lot about CJ that the coach. How often do you see a freshman come into the post-game press conference? It's very rare. You don't see it. So most of the time, those are held out for captains, juniors, and seniors like JT Daniels. You know, who does a pretty good press conference himself. But it's been really impressive all the way around.
Yeah.
One question I have is, you know, looking at the offers that he had and sort of how his recruitment went. Why do you think that he was under recruited? Because clearly he was, based on what he's showing.
Well, we all would try to kind of let everybody in on his ability, but they couldn't get past his size. They said he was a tweener. We said he was a football player and a darn good football player. But they were trying, you know, for the most part, they were trying to look at metrics and trying to fit him into the category of either a receiver or a tight end or a versatile H-back. You know,
that makes sense.
They asked, I said, you know, you put him where you need to, but he's great. He's got great hands. You know, I think he's a great receiver. You know, he's imposing out there too. You know,
I'm sure that part of his game is going to come. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say that. I think that was a whole thing. And plus, I'll tell you also, COVID had a major impact on recruiting for this class. You know, coaches weren't able to get out in the spring and see guys. I think if they would have seen him that spring after COVID, you know, it would have definitely turned some heads because he's put together too now. Yeah.
Lucky for us, I feel.
Hey, yeah, that for sure. That for sure.
It's hard.
One of the stories that I heard about his recruitment is that Trey Lathan actually had kind of a part to play in it. That Trey came to the staff and said, "Hey, listen, you need to recruit CJ. CJ's good." Is there truth to that, or is that just rumor?
No, there's truth to it. There's truth to it. And in fact, I think we all were trying to get, you know, Coach Trickett and I, we go back, you know, way back. But I know Trey was saying, like, we got to get this guy on our team, you know, get him to come with us. And, you know, we all were trying to do the same thing, you know, and there were certain things that they were looking for to see if he could do, and we'd let CJ know, and it'd get done. You know, and I'm just glad it turned out the way it did.
Yeah, we are too.
Yeah, we are too. I like the story of, so obviously the coaches are there to see Trey Lathan, and all of a sudden CJ jumps off the field at him. I like that, you know, that he so it gives him this ability to wear the chip on his shoulder. I'm sure that he does. Tulane being his best Power 5 offer, well, actually Group of 5 team, besides the Mountaineers. And really just I like how you sum that up, because he was too big to be a wideout, too much of a tweener to be a tight end or an H-back. And so people didn't know where to put him. And you hear this happens to kids all across the country. He's a football player.
Yeah.
And this happens a lot. Like Travis said, we're glad it happened in this case, because he reminds me a little bit of Brandon Jacobs, but with a little bit better lateral movement. You know, Brandon Jacobs was really a true north-south guy.
Mm-hmm.
CJ can dance. He made some guys miss on Saturday that, he's in the top 5 in the country in yards per carry.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so proud of him. Proud of all of my guys that are performing everywhere. But
somebody, I'm getting some feedback here. Let's see. Um, well, you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I can hear you now, Coach. I apologize for that.
No worries. No worries.
Lost the video. I'll edit that out later.
So, Coach, you've been coaching Gulliver Prep now. Is this your 17th or 18th season?
Well, it's going on 18. I've been there since 2005, and going on 18 years, but it's going on my 17th year as a head coach.
That's awesome. So we got a question here from one of the guys, Mountaineer Lair with Kenny said, "What is your favorite football moment with Trey and CJ?" And you can make that a both the same or different.
Honestly, I think for both of them, it actually took place off the field. They were both instrumental in kind of shepherding a lot of our younger players and getting them to adjust and adapt to our school and in our program. But one of the things we do every night before we play a game is we have a team dinner. And this previous year, we had a segment where each senior got up and spoke as if they were writing a letter to football, and it was called Dear Football. So having those guys, when you hear those guys' hearts, they're not really men of many words. They do most of the talking on the field, but when you hear, kind of just where it all started and the emotion attached to their love for this game, it's a special moment that I'll never forget.
Wow. I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that. It's hard to get kids, some, not all raised in the best circumstances to open up like that, so a lot of times it's taught, especially to us as men that play football, and to not share those type of things. So it's really awesome. It just speaks to you, and it comes through the screen how much of a leader you are. So it doesn't bother, I can see why these kids follow you. It's been really impressive to hear you speak.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's all right.
So two-part question for me, and then I'm gonna jump off of here and get my kid from soccer. But first part is we'll set up the second. Is how much time did you spend with head coach Neal Brown during the recruitment of both of those players?
I have a team of coaches that help me to just stay current with communication. But coach had come by the school, and we've chatted, and most of my conversation was through Coach, who was there prior as Coach Trickett. But we sat down and we talked. Trey was basically locked in. And we were talking about, CJ and trying to get him locked in, the things that need to take place in order for that decision to come true. And, like I said earlier, those the things that he had to do to make to let them know that he was a player they needed to select took place week by week. Whenever they said anything, it was almost like a challenge. So we appreciate it because he rose to it.
That's it was awesome. A sign of things to come, right?
Yes, indeed. Goodness.
Well, so the reason for my first question is really that as you may know, when a football team starts off at 0-2 in the season, fans start asking questions and getting really riled up about their head coach. And you've met him, and I kind of wonder, what you think of his character and what you think of his football acumen in the time that you've sat with him.
Well, in the time that I sat with him, I could tell that he was intense. Everything that he said, he listened intently. He was, I think everything that he said and everything that he did, it serves a purpose. We're in that same boat where we're 0-2, and that's hadn't happened in a long time. I can't even remember. But you got to put yourself in the shoes. The challenges that we face week to week that may not be apparent to everybody else. It's the most important thing is to make sure that the men in that locker room believe and that they continue to work in order to see those results come to fruition. Everybody wants to win. Everybody works to win. Everybody doesn't always have the will to win, but that is the goal, And I think they're going to bounce back. I think he's going to do a great job this year. There's still momentum building in that locker room. It maybe hasn't spilled out yet, but it will. It will.
It's hard in this new era of the transfer portal, and we don't really have precedent for it. Not every team's going to come together right away when you have all these new faces. WVU faced as much attrition in the transfer portal as almost any team in the country last year. And even though they brought faces in with experience, a lot of those kids were FCS caliber players that they believe, based on their metrics, could move up and fill those positions. And I'm sure there is an adjustment to the speed of the game to be had there. It doesn't mean they can't play. I think a lot of fans, when you have a university like West Virginia University that is 14th all-time in wins, I'm sure if you've known Mr. Coach Trickett for a while, then we've had huge success in our history. Sure. And so the expectations are that every year, even though we've had a pretty bad run of the last 10 years for our standards. So a lot of the negativities from the fan side, I don't think it's in the locker room at all. I watch the interviews. Just from what I see, and I'm a pretty obsessed fan that also jumps on here and then does this. I don't think it's the kids that are still bought in. And you're right, he is an intense guy. And I think that's probably one of his biggest things that hurts him sometimes, is that over-analytical mind that he has. And he wants to be good for us so much. He fits our culture. He's built a culture. You don't get the recruits that he's been getting, especially in the 23 class, which is looking to shaping up to be within the top 25. If it keeps going the way it is, without being somebody that kids trust, So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got anything else for Coach Simms, Travis, or were you going to say something, Coach?
No, I just agree. I think in those ingredients is character, and as long as you continue to bring in high character quality kids, the young men, the other stuff will take care of itself. Everybody's recruiting talent. What separates a lot of it is the ability to endure and withstand. And so even though everything's being tested right now, if it can't be tested, it can't be trusted.
Ooh,
so
that's good.
We gotta still hold true and believe that in the end it's gonna all work out.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I'm going to jump off of here. It was great talking with you, and I hope that we cross paths again.
Yes, sir. Sounds great. It's great meeting you. Great talking with you as well.
All right. Take care. Take care,
Coach,
Mountaineer.
all right, Travis. I just got one or two more for you, and then I'm sure you've had a long day. So, how do things work there where you're at Gulliver Prep? Is there a middle school that connects to your high school that there's basically that pipelines through there?
Yes, we have a middle school
Okay.
grades 5 through 8.
Okay, because I know there's a lot of schools in Florida there that are almost their own entity. A lot of these prep schools, which you guys are considered to be a prep school as well, Gulliver Prep.
Yeah.
So I know some are just like IMG. I don't think there's a middle school for IMG Academy, you know,
No.
like that.
We're not a prep school like post-secondary prep school, like where people go after high school. It's just part of the school preparatory to prepare them for college.
Okay, makes sense now. A little bit of a lingo mess up there.
Yeah.
So another question I was wondering about earlier is, do you feel, I don't want to say pipeline, like, so in the mid 2000s, there was a Miramar pipeline from Miramar to West Virginia. Geno
Right.
Smith, Stebbin, Bailey. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that is something that has happened between you guys and WVU, or is it just something that you're open to all options from all schools? I mean, I know you can't favor one school over another,
Right.
but I mean, if you know somebody's going to do your kids right, you know, that's also something you have to look into.
Well, that is one of the number one things is for the standard of care concerning our student athletes who are leaving our program, going to a different program, is at a high level, you know. And we've had several guys go to different schools. I mean, quite honestly, my alma mater as well. We got a lot of guys who go into that school as well, you know. But it's like I see an opportunity. I see an opportunity for one to be created, and if the same feeling is on the other end, then let's go.
Especially if, you know, and this doesn't necessarily have to happen, but if Trey and CJ carve out really good careers there, you know, that those things almost foster a connection, just those things in and of themselves. We saw it happen with Geno and Stedman, and you know, the same thing happened with Miramar, you know, those because they go back and forth, and only, you know, the kids are going to hear good things about the university. So guys, if you don't care, go ahead and smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. We're trying to build the channel here on the West Virginia channel with the voice of college football with Mark Rogers. We'd really appreciate that. Coach, I think my last question for you is it's funny the parallel between you guys and the Mountaineers right now. You're both 0-2. So my question is a personal question for you. How much do you think the attrition is going to affect your kids in the locker room being 0-2 at this point in time? Do you think you've got them riled up and ready to go?
Every time that we have an opportunity, we're responsible for it, right? Everybody doesn't get an opportunity, number one, to be in the locker room with guys on one accord. You know, so we're responsible for what we do with that opportunity. We came up short a couple weeks ago. We've had some weather issues and stuff like that, but we are not victims of circumstance. We don't focus on circumstance. We focus on the opportunity, and we prepare ourselves to be ready to take advantage when it comes. So that being said, we have a season ahead of us that we are working to get better every day. You know, it's not who we are with a 0-2 record. It's who we are becoming. And as long as we continue to work each day and work to improve, we're going to do that. We're going to prove that we've improved. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
I have all the faith in the world in you. I don't see how you can't succeed. You're such a charismatic dude, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Well, you got a fan in me. I appreciate you doing this. It really means a lot. You come out here and talk about those kids. Just know that they're going to be well cared for. Mountaineer fans are as diehard or more so than most. It's the only thing in the state that we have. We love West Virginia. A lot of us are from the state, so we don't have protein. So, the kids, we really try to root for them. And anytime I see any try to tie negativity that goes out towards the kids, I try to vanquish that.
Yes.
I released a video a couple days ago. It's kind of a minor PSA. Please stop targeting our kids on Twitter. That's one of the fastest ways to make them hit the portal. It's so easy to do it nowadays. And if somebody feels like they're under the thumb of the fan base and they've already disappointed, at least they feel like their coaches and everybody around them, I mean, a fresh start. And a lot of programs can't afford that. So we the fans don't have a lot of control, but we can certainly edify these kids rather than tear them down.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
And it just drives me nuts. So coaches, okay, are another story. They're getting paid. Of course, these kids are making some money in some cases, but they're also 18 to 21 years old, So I just don't see what it can help. Constructively, I get it, but I'm talking about the direct targeting of kids. Oh, man, it just drives me crazy. If I can get my hands on people, it just makes me so mad.
It's unfortunate, man. It's yeah. But that word edify. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm West Virginia's Bible Belt.
Let's go. Amen.
Coach, thanks for coming on. I'm going to be watching closely your Gulliver Prep team. Do you have anything you want to plug? Tell the guys, anybody, is there any way we can follow you guys on social media or anything like that?
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Gulliver FB for Gulliver Football. And we're going to keep plugging away. We're proud of our Gulliver Raiders who are playing across the nation right now, definitely in West Virginia, among other states. And, let's continue to work. Best of luck to West Virginia in the remainder of the season.
Thursday night's a big one. Thursday night, Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. It doesn't get much harder than that. That's a tough place to go win. So
I played at Blacksburg before.
You did? Where did you play, Coach?
I played at UVA. I was trying not to, but
I
played at UVA. So,
okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be worse. Virginia Tech, Syracuse. I can live with the others. So
yeah.
Okay. What year were you there?
I was there from 97 to 2002.
Oh, really? You there with the Twins?
Well, right after
them? Yeah,
96 is when they came.
Oh, okay. Man, those are good players.
Oh yeah. But we had some battles back in the day.
Well, like I said, Coach, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure CJ is going to continue to break out, and Trey as well. The coach was talking about in the press conference. It's only a matter of time for Trey. It's just that CJ was more ready from a body standpoint to jump into the position he's in. Like you said, Trey's a former wide receiver. There's some, he has to build up a little bit to play that linebacker spot. And I don't even know if they're completely settled on exactly where he's going to be. So we'll see. But I think CJ is going to continue to break out. And I think he's going to, by the end of the year, I think he's going to be one of the two best running backs in the conference. That's just my opinion. So I think it'll be Brees Hall and then C.J. Donaldson. And, well, the kid in Texas is pretty good too. So,
hey, just keep going. Each week, each step, let's continue to climb.
All right, Coach. You have a great evening, and thanks for coming on.
You as well. God bless. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Mountaineer fans, for coming on. We'll see you guys next time.